So hello everyone and welcome to the Minecraft Crash Course. So today we'll be looking at variables and coordinates. Now if you don't know what any of these are, don't worry, we'll explain it in this video. So variable, it's essentially a letter in math. That's right, you're probably gonna think that this is gonna be really difficult, but don't leave the video just yet. So it's a letter in math that represents a number. So let's say that x could be equal to 7, or x could be equal to 8. So it's basically any number. So I could type here a is equal to 4. It's any letter representing any number. Now, why do we need to know this? Okay, so if we take a look at this, for example, in this green box, we've got a different scenario, okay? So let's say that x is equal to 2 plus 5. Well, we can calculate that actually. We know that 2 plus 5 is, well, 7. Um, so if you know that x is equal to 2 plus 5, and that is 7, we can also say that x is equal to 7. It's the same thing. We can also say that x is equal to 1 plus 6, because it's also 7. Both of these statements are true, but just for easier purposes, we use x is equal to 7. Now, if we take y here, we see that x minus 2. So we can use variables to define other variables. So we know that y is equal to x minus 2. So what is x equal to? It's 2 plus 5, which is 7. So this is essentially the same as saying 7 minus 2. So we all know that that is, well, 5. So if 7 minus 2 is 5, then, well, we can just shorten that and say that y is equal to 5. And this is the same truthful statement as x minus 2 is in our specific scenario. But if x was, let's say, equal to like 3, then it would be x minus 2, which would be 3 minus 2, and it would be 1. But that is not the case in our scenario. In our scenario, x is equal to 7. So we see that, like, in each different scenario, these letters are gonna hold different numbers, and we're gonna have to remember that. So now if we move on to the z, now we see here that z is equal to x plus y. So we actually don't have any numbers in this equation. But don't worry, it's actually very simple. So we got x here, and we already know that x is equal to 2 plus 5, which is 7. So 7 plus y, which, as we know, as we calculated before, is 5. So now that you write it like this, it seems like first grader math, right? So it's 7 plus 5, so that's easily 12. And so we can also state that z is equal to 12. Now this looks way better, right? Instead of saying to z is equal to x plus y, we just have z is equal to 12, and this looks way better. Now, here's the thing, okay? We can redefine variables. So we already defined a variable here, x. But just defining variables on its own would be useless, because we could just type in the number 7, right? But we want to work with this letter, actually. So in our case, we want to redefine this. So x is equal to z minus y. So we are going to do z, which is 12. So we're going to just type that down here. Minus y, which in our case is 5. So 12 minus 5, well, we got ourselves 7. So x is now equal to 7. It was actually equal to 7 at the beginning as well. So if we say that if y was, let's say, 6, if y was 6, then it would be z minus y, it would be 12 minus 6, it would be 6, and the x would be equal to 7, to 6, sorry. So we see that we redefine variables sometimes. So we like got 7 at the beginning, right? Now we got 6. Well, in our case, it's still just 7, but we can essentially just redefine variables like this. And so right now we can state that, well, if we were to say that x is equal to 6, right, because this will be 12 minus 6, then we could also say that y is equal to x, sorry, that x is equal to y plus 1. Now, this would be a true statement. Why? Well, because x is no longer equal to 7. It's actually equal to 6. So we got 6 is equal to, y is still equal to 5. We haven't redefined that. So y is still equal to 5. So plus 1. So we know that 6 is equal to 6. And that is a true statement. 6 will always be equal to 6. We can just rewrite this to 6 is equal to 6. And well, 6 is 6. So this is a true statement right here. So essentially, you see that this is how you work with variables. You can just redefine them. If we didn't redefine this, if we just removed this from the equation completely, then x would still be equal to 7 because we haven't redefined it. So it would be 7 is equal to y plus 1, which is not true. 7 is not equal to 5 plus 1 because 7 is not equal to 6. So it wouldn't be true. But in our case, in our scenario, it is very true. So let's get back to Minecraft. Now, why do we need to know these variables? Well, in every game, there are coordinates, right? So, for instance, if we got a 2D game, let's say this is a Mario game, okay? So, this is a 2D game, which means two-dimensional. Now, what does that actually mean? Have you ever thought about that? Well, I'm gonna tell you now. So, two-dimensional games means that it's got two coordinates, which are two variables representing every single representing the space an object or an entity is currently existing at. So we got the y coordinate, which is essentially height. Y is always height in like every video game ever. So and also in your on your computer, y is equal to height. So you see that it actually starts at the left bottom corner, and this block is y1. This block is y2, y3, y4, and you get how it goes, right? Until y9 in our scenario. Now, of course, games got way larger scales because it's measured in pixels, so it'd be like y7000, something like that. So, but in our case, just for the simplicity, imagine like a grid, right? So we got y9, y3. So if we were to define the grass block in this row, it will be y6. But we also got the second coordinate here, the second dimension, which is x. And we also start at the very same block here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you get the point. So if we were to find block y2 and x3, we would have to go to y2 and now move to x3. So this would be y2, x3. Now let's try actually finding this block. Where is this block on the grid? Well, the first thing we would have to do is find its y coordinate, its height. What height is it in? Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if you go here, we see that this is y6. Now, but that's not everything. That's just the height. That could also be here, or here, or here, or here. We also need the x coordinate to make it precisely at this block on the grid. So the x coordinate is, well, we start from here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we got 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we essentially know that this is y6, x8. y6, x8. So, and these are variables. The y is a variable. It currently, this block holds the variable of a coordinate y6. Its y is equal to 6, and its x is equal to 8. And so if you still don't understand how the variables work, I'm gonna list a video in the descriptions because you are gonna need to understand the way variables work. So, now that we know this, but what about a 3D game? I mean, we're in Minecraft. This is not a 2D game. This is a three-dimensional game. I mean, we can go north, south, east, west, and up. Okay, so Minecraft is a game of 3 dimensions. We can actually make that. We can actually visually interpret that in 6 lines, right? Essentially, it's just 3 lines, but it might seem like 6 lines, whatever. So we see that this is the y coordinate here. That's the height. The x coordinate, which is essentially east and west, and the z coordinate, which is south and north. But Well, that's very cool, but if I go into the middle of the nowhere here and spin a few times, now I don't have a clue where X and Z is. I mean, there's a very, very different way around this. So, if I just, like, make two lines in here, right? Maybe not from this block, actually. Literally any other block. If I make two lines here, right? Now, this is the X and Z. But how do I know which one of these is the X and which one of these is the Z? So if I walk this line, I'm either going in the Z coordinate or in the X coordinate. But how do I know which one it is? Well, actually, it's very simple. We press the F3 button, and here, I'm gonna zoom in. Here we see facing east toward, and these brackets are very important for us, towards positive X. Now, what this means that if I go in this direction, the X coordinate, the X variable, will start getting higher. Now, what does that actually mean? Well, if we look here at the top of this paragraph, sort of, we see X, Y, Z. And what this means is that it's the order it goes in. So X is the first coordinate. It's this first number, 89.489. Now, we actually don't use decimals here, so we just remove the 0.489, and we only use 89. So you see that our X is 89. Now, the second number here, well, we only got two coordinates left, right? Y and Z, because X is the first one. Now, this is actually the Y coordinate, because it's X, Y, Z. So our X is the first number, 89, our Y is the second number, 57, and our Z is the third number, which is minus 27 in our case. So, if I go in this direction, if I go 3 blocks in this direction I'm facing right now, I'm going to be at X, which is the first number, remember, 92. The reason for it is because I'm facing, here again, facing towards positive X. So if I just go 1, 2, 3 blocks, now X 92. But what if I turn around? Well, now we see that I'm towards negative X. So if I go in this direction, the X number will go down, actually. Okay, so let's go 5 blocks in this direction. It's negative X, remember. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we are at the coordinate 87. Now, the same thing works for the Z coordinate. We look this direction, and we see it's towards positive Z. And we know that X, Y, Z, so X, Y, Z. Z is the third number. So if I move 2 blocks in this direction, it should be minus 25. So let's actually test that. Minus 26, minus 25, right? Because I'm going in positive X, and we're in negative, so it actually, yeah, this is basic algebra. If you have like minus 30 plus 2, it's actually minus 28. Okay, now we know that. So let's say, okay, that we go in this direction 4 blocks. What coordinates are we gonna be on? Now pause the video and try it for yourself. So X, Y, Z. Z being the third number, and we know we are going negative Z. So we can type it as our current Z, right? Minus, because it's negative, the amount of blocks we want to move. So in our case, this is going to be minus 25 minus, well, 4. We want to move 4 blocks, and minus 25 minus 4 is minus 29. So if I move 4 blocks in this direction, I should be at Z minus 29. Let's try this. 1, 2, 3, 4 minus 29. And the same actually works for Y coordinate, right? Y, remember, Y is height. So if I build 1 block up, it's going to be 56 plus 1, which so I should be at 57, right? That's logical. So I'm at Y 57. Now let's actually do some tests with this. So if I go into this netherite block, and I want to get to this netherite block, and so I know the coordinates of this block I'm standing at right now. My coordinates right now are 5, 56, 13. That's the coordinates that I'm on when I'm standing on this block. 5, 56, 13. Minus 13, sorry about that. So, now we have to get to this block. So, we could just like get here normally, right? But the way we want to do it, we want to predict what coordinates we're gonna be at. So, first we need to know some stuff. So, if I look this direction, we see, again, it's positive x. So, if I actually go in here right now, and we go here, we've got a nice illustration of this here. So, we got positive x, right? Remember that. So, we're doing the x number plus, because it's the positive x, the amount of blocks we want to move. Now, we know the x number value already. That is 5 for us, so we can fill that in. And the a, well, it's 3 blocks. Well, we can actually count that. 1, 2, 3. So 5 plus 3. Well, now that's just simple maths all of a sudden, right? So that's 8. I actually got that here as well. So 5 plus 3, that's the x, and it's going to be 8. Now, we also know that it's 1 block up. Now, we're 56 right now, so, well, that's very simple math. We get 56 plus 1. But then, we also have to go 1 block left. So, we have to face that direction, and now we see it's negative z. So, again, x, y, z, first number, second number, third number. So, the third number is z. So, it's minus 13, and now it's negative here, so that's minus, and the amount of blocks you want to move, which in our case is 1, because we're just moving 1 block forward. Okay, so if we write this out as a formula, let's show our work here, so we don't think I'm just pulling these numbers out of nowhere. So we know that we have to move in this direction, and that is negative z. So we already got our first thing. We're going to be moving the z coordinate. That's the coordinate we're moving in, right? And now negative, so that means minus, and the amount of blocks we're gonna move. So if we fill all those all those numbers in our equation, our current z is minus 13, minus, and the amount of blocks 1 again. So if we put all that in, 5x plus 3x, so we get like our starting coordinate is 5, and our ending coordinate, and we're moving 3 blocks, and it's positive. So we got 8 right here. 56 plus 1, that's the y coordinate, that's the height, that's 57, and minus 13 minus 1, so we get minus 14. So now that I've given a very detailed explanation of this, because you really need to understand this. Like, almost every command book ever, or command, uses coordinates. So you really need to get a deep understanding of this already in your bones. So let's say that we want to move to the gold block, right? So the things that we're going to have to do. We have to move, of course, this direction, 3 blocks. So let's actually put that down. 3 blocks in this direction, and 1 block in this direction. Now, we're not changing our height, where the height is the same. So, again, we know that this is negative z, so there's a third number. We already got minus 13 minus 3, because, as we know, z, negative, so minus z minus a, or our z coordinate minus the amount of blocks we want to travel. And here we got negative x, so we're actually going to be taking the x value, which is 5, minus the amount of blocks we want to travel, so that's 1. And that's essentially it for us. So if we look here, we can write this down as 5 minus 1, 56 plus 0, minus 13 minus 3, and out of that we get 4, 56 minus 16. So let's actually check our work here. 4, 56 minus 16. You see? We've predicted it. And now this is going to be very important for when in future videos we're going to use the /tp command or /summon command, or, well, basically any other command ever. So let's try last one of these, trying to go on this diamond block. So we got negative x 1, 2, 3 blocks. Negative, positive z. 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's actually. So positive z. 1, 2, 3, 4. Negative x. 1, 2, 3. And we moved to y because 1, 2. So if we type this out again, we get 5 minus 3 because it's negative, 56 plus 2, and minus 13 plus 4. So we get this out of it. 258 minus 9. Now I hope you like this video, and if you don't understand something, there will be a video down in the description that furthermore explains the variables. Now, see you next time.